Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Datapedia. Today, we have another very prominent guest from our technology industry, a very prominent IT leader, has been in industry for a couple of decades and have done had been part of a lot of financial transformation. I am welcoming Miss Charu Gulati on our episode. Welcome, ma'am, to the episode. Before I go ahead, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, thank you so much, Shivesh. Shivesh, I am Charu Gulati, and basically, I've been in IT industry since 2006. So it was in 2006 that I graduated from IT Roorkee in architecture, and then
Okay.
I worked for TCS. So at TCS, when I was inducted, the data warehousing data stream was still in nascent phase.
Yeah.
Business intelligence was a term which was used for high profile projects. So I was inducted for that. So I was trained in Trivandrum for 2 to 3 months along with my batchmates. So on this emerging technology of business intelligence, data warehousing. So after that, I worked for a luxury cruise liner client of TCS called Carnival Cruise Lines, and it was all about data warehousing. How they wanted to capture customer centric data, their shore excursions, and there was so much more into data that what should be the propensity of data, how would the repeat customer be like. So I was introduced to that word. So from there, I worked for quite a few clients and organizations. I moved on from TCS. I worked in American Express. American Express still it was one of the largest middle run data warehouses in American Express. The technologies were different ETL tools, and different databases, but the concept was similar, right? And I moved to Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS, now which is called NatWest Markets. So there too, we did a lot of integrations. And somewhere down in 2017, 16, I would say things started to change because there was induction of big data because everyone was tech savvy. Internet was the in thing. I worked for Axis Max Life, erstwhile Max Life Insurance, and I've been there since last 8 years, looking at these emerging trends, working in cloud computing. So that pretty much summarizes my experience, Shivesh.
Yeah. Thanks for that introduction, Charu.
Sure.
One interesting fact which I have known about you is you are also an editor and a storyteller. So I would like to understand that particular aspect of yours, and specifically since you are now into a leadership position, how does your author mind or a storyteller mind acts around in your day job? Does it add value to it in taking certain decisions or a thought process? And how does your impact your day-to-day job also?
Yeah, so Shivesh, writing is just like any other hobby. It's like painting, singing, and it's something creative which
Yeah.
makes you a better person, and it also helps you reflect. So there are two aspects which help me being a storyteller in my professional world. The first thing is that people, when you try to go to them, and if you want to induct them to your team, you want to have a vision of for them to belong to a common goal, or
Correct.
even if you want to pitch your ideas to the senior leadership, storytelling helps because
Okay.
people are okay, facts and figures help, they're very crucial part, but to make sense out of facts and figures you have to weave them in a story people remember, fact and
Yeah.
figures they forget, although they're also very powerful because facts and figures show the truth, but to remember to you need emotion, right? So that emotion comes in the part of storytelling. You tell about your team, even if you have failed, your failures also you can portray as a story, and then say that the story is not over yet, give us some time, we'll make it into a success. And then secondly, for any individual, storytelling, writing, reflecting, even putting down your thoughts and idea, it sets you free because in the day, in your professional life or even in your personal life, lot of things happen, so
Right.
they take a toll on your emotions, on your well-being. Lot of things happens which perhaps you try to assimilate in your body, in your heart, your emotions. It impacts your thoughts, impact your work life. So if you pen them down, and certain observations which you see, if you just capture them, just like you capture a picture through a camera, you capture those thoughts in your diary or wherever you write, you feel very unburdened, right? And it
Right.
makes sense also because you go back again and see like how I have progressed. So I think these are the two aspects. One is the storytelling makes people remember your points, and the second is that it sets you free because you have poured your emotions down on paper. So
I
yeah.
absolutely for you. Some of the board discussions I have been part of are all about how do you present the data. So the data, fact, figures are always there and they are well prepared, but the major aspects remains how does you curate your story around it to get the buy-in, because those boardrooms buy-in are the most difficult decisions and discussions which you go through in your life. Now, one prominent thing about you, Charu, is you have been in this data industry, right? You told you were trained from ground up from in 2006, I guess, right? From 2006. So you have seen the industry move forward, where I think data was not that important for any enterprise businesses. People were more front end or Java or those kind of technology oriented. So at that point, when you were starting your career and you were put into data domain, at that time, what did you think? You, at your instinct, specifically, did it come that data will become this prominent phase? And specifically in the era where we are now together discussing so much about AI, and we know the backbone is data. So how does this has shaped up on that day when you joined your organization? You were put in such technologies where every second person would have been doing Java or some other technologies. How was data pinching you in?
Yeah, Shiva, it is true that at that time, and even today, there are programming languages the programmers were in, rather than data professionals or data scientists. Data scientist was not even a term by then. But somehow, when we were handpicked from, there were a certain batch of students or professionals from premier institutes. So we were given a choice to go for, business intelligence or data, because we were told that it's going to be a major, a breakthrough in coming years. And with that instinct, we trusted our mentors and we went forward. And indeed, it is very fascinating because data can do so much. At the time when I joined, Amazon was just, e-commerce website, nothing more. Who would say that now, it would change the
Yeah.
technology sphere because of the data centers, the forethought that they had shown. But I was always interested. I worked through the literature. I found how Amazon at that point of time, through the data they had, they decided what item to put in what aisle. Okay, so if a certain person comes up to have do they have this inclination to go into that aisle or that aisle, and the little projections that it was making, like what preferences. If you prefer a bread, would you also prefer butter, right?
Yeah.
So putting
Yeah.
them side by side, or putting them, what geography you belong to, what is your culture background. So your spending habits based on very minute data. Through which you make discretion. So that was really wonderful. It really had lot of potential. So I always believed in that, and with that faith, I moved forward. And even today, in the world of AI, no one would disagree with me that data is indeed the foundation layer. Just like I'm an architect by education. So I know that foundation is important, right? The building you may beautify and put up lot of layers on it, lot of curvature you could put, lot of motifs you could put, but it is the foundation which makes your building safe. Similarly, data
Sure.
is that foundation, and even in coming years, with the all due respect to AI and emerging technologies and visions, data is always going to be there. So yeah,
Right.
how we
So
use it
almost
matters.
almost couple of decades in industry, how do you think specifically this term data engineering, right, has evolved over the years?
So initially, I believe that when we were talking about data engineering, we were talking about data warehouses, we were talking about ETL, right? Because at the time, the databases were there, but there were varied sources. The data coming from some online platform, some offline platform, data coming from some other CRM platform, and we wanted a single source of truth. ETL was also important because you extract, you transform, you load. Because you cannot just extract and first load, because you need to have think about the storage solutions, and there were a lot of other logistics that you had to think. But with the data engineering, basically ELT also became popular, because
Mm.
now we had that kind of capacity. You could pay on demand, you extract, you load, and then you transform. So those things have changed. Data warehouse is still relevant, I would say, but not where you need real time data. So I think previously there were more stress on data modeling, right? But now with data lake, you know that you can put everything into data lake, and then you can later think about other aspects. You need an engineer now to make an engine to consume and run on that data. So that is the shift that has come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if I understand in your term, you are still so for let's say we are sitting in 2026. Do you still believe that data warehouse is not dead and it is still a relevant topic or relevant subject for us?
Yes, yes. I do believe that basically the use cases have changed. Data warehouse is still not dead. There's certain because not in every scenario you need real time data, right? There's certain scenario where you need to really need to have dimensional modeling, and so but the use case has changed in transactional. I think fields like banking and all perhaps not the very relevant, but yeah, it is still there. Yeah.
So we very often now, Charu, in current world, we are listening about lake houses coming into picture, right? We have new entrants in the market. I will not say new entrants, but they are very prominent now. Databricks is coming into picture. Snowflake was always there. Informatica is one of their pioneer, which maybe not directly supports warehouse and lakehouse as a solution, but needs to support those solutions, right? So what is the fundamental differences? Warehousing is a very old concept, but now the lake bases have come in, lake house has come in. So what is one fundamental basis which is separating them as a concept, and how does it makes an impact?
Yeah, I think conceptually they're all the same. I would say not much difference. Just a bit of tire here or there. That is what matters. So warehouse was based on basically the structure of data. You couldn't, you couldn't just get data so easily, right? You didn't want many joins. You had to be very, very conscious about how data should look like. There used to be indexes, secondary keys, and a lot about that. And when you talk about data lakes, or you talk about lake houses, you talk about snowflakes. Snowflake is just another philosophy, I would say. So or data bricks. I think the conceptually, basically the how we store data has differed. Now you have one data lake house on which you can build a house, or you use it in certain format or the other. It is unstructured data you can store and think about it later. Who would think 20 years before, we would never think that we could query from flat files, and so easily. Thena is there, and so many tools are there. So it's like you store everything first, and then you think about it later. Yeah, not much of a difference, but yeah, it also then depends on your business use case. How, if you want to make a lake house, or be there with a data lake, use Snowflake model. Like when I was in my current organization, when we decided that we'll go from on-prem to cloud, we evaluated all the technologies, GCP, Azure, AWS. Then we also dabbled with Lakehouse, and but conceptually they were all similar. One of the factors was costing was a factor which comes
Yeah.
up in all the solutions. So yes, yeah.
So when we talk about these as a concept in a larger picture, I heard you speaking about single source of truth, right? So, do you think MDM, master data management, as a concept is also a formidable part of this solution, or you'd like to keep MDM a pretty separate implementation or a separate chapter inside an organization, or you'd like to club it with your entire data warehouse or lakehouse concepts and put MDM as a piece there?
Yeah, so in my view, MDM is very important, especially now with the advent of DPDP also, right? How we use how labeled and defined our metadata is, that's very important. So, here also the philosophy is quite similar. We used to have metadata even in data warehouses. We have it here because it is very important to basically define and functionally let know that this is how my master data looks like. These are my
Right.
terms which look like. You could call it different things in different system, but this is what it means. So
Mhm.
in that sense, I will put it centrally, I would say, if I'm
Yes,
using
central.
leaks and all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, to make it more centralized rather than put it, segregate it as a different function.
Yeah. And do you think while solutioning these out, the data quality aspect also remains a very important part of the solution, or profiling quality and all will be a separate effort from these implementations?
No, no, I think data quality is very important. Data governance is also very important. Most of the times, the issue happens when you are building a new project and you think about the end result first, and you tend to miss the data governance or the data quality part. Then it becomes a separate solution, right? Then you think about it later. But if you through if when during the inception of the project, if you take care of these things, that the data shouldn't be redundant, it should be relevant, data minimalization should be there, profiling should be there, then I think it makes more sense to start off with a good foundational data and then move on from there, rather than the other way around.
Like, so one thing which I have seen, Charu, specifically, I know you are with Max Life and you have been doing dealing with large amount of data. Now, people during these implementation at very foundation level or start level start using quality cleansing and all those aspects, right? But once that has happened, over time, the decay happens. So, how do you think that quality and remediation should be part of the journey regularly on the update side of a thing also, or is it just a one-time effort which you used to do?
Yeah, Shivesh, I think it's not a one-time thing, because data governance is ongoing, just like in other aspects of life. It's not like you do something one time and then get that done and dusted with, or you repeat it every 6 months. I would say that it should be there on the go. It should happen on it should be built-in process. And that is my observation, based on my experience in all the four organizations I have worked with. It is something which needs to be there, or else it would lead to issues later. So the governance should definitely be there, and or else if it comes later, it becomes very difficult to initiate masking and encryption at the later part. So those kind of forethought, those kind of solutions should be implemented beforehand. Yeah.
Right. We were, I know you have spent around couple of decades already in industry. Maybe when you started, cloud was not that prominent, right? Because now the world is changing from on-prem to cloud, right? Most because of these larger organization coming up with the solution. But with the situation prevailing, we are seeing a lot of talk around sovereignty, right? Your data being important part of your organization. So residency plays a very important aspect of it. So we have already seen a lot of transformation from on-prem to cloud. Now people talking about sovereign things. So do you think the shift is again from cloud to on-prem, or a hybrid kind of approach which organization is going to take, specifically with the situation of geopolitical scenarios around us today?
Yeah. So, Shivesh, that there has been, just like things change from generation to generation, but sometimes, the third generation is closer to the, the first generation. That also happens. So it's like something similar. It's a cyclical order. So previously, all the systems were on-premises. We were using our own servers. The data was within our hands, in our organization. It was secure. It was with us. But we faced other problems of, that if we need some additional servers, additional space, how do we go about, how do we make the best of the available resources, and yet ensure that everything is used. Those were the problems which were coming up on prem. Cloud, again, the solution championed by, I would say, Amazon first, and then of
Mm.
course Google and other companies within Oracle. It was more about pay as you go model. We give you a space, you utilize that, you take care of your own security in cloud is so someone's responsibilities, and security of your application is your responsibility. So that kind of bifurcation was there. With the introduction of DP also, and conscious decisioning about the data that travels from one place to another, now things are taking a different shape. Sovereignty also matters, that you use a similar solution, but you have hold of your data, how it travels, how it is used. So that is also important. Hybrid, I would say hybrid is here to stay. It's not that if you put everything on prem, then then your organization would lose out on the benefits of what's
Yeah.
happening on cloud. And it's not only about storage; it's about the computational abilities, which cloud
And also the
uses. It's
scalability,
faster.
the ease of
Scalability,
scalability.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, Shivesh. So I would say in that condition, I think hybrid is a approach which is here to stay.
Yeah, with since you have been you started your career as a data engineering professional. And now with this AI evaluation, right, you would have passed through multiple data engineering challenges or data engineering solution companies would have implemented. Do you think now who is going to adopt to AI, specifically these organizations, let's say your current organization, they would have already pioneered on data engineering side. So they are getting help because they are as an organization, they have matured on your data implementation. So that is helping them to adopt AI very quickly and use cases being delivered faster.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Shivesh. Data layer helps because even even the AI, even the RAG, all the models they build on the foundation, yeah, right? And that foundation is what? It is knowledge base. So the knowledge base that you actually accrue over the time, and then what data you send back, through your agents back to your knowledge base. So that is very important. If you don't have that kind of foundation, if your data on which you are basing your bots, AI bots, and everything, chat bots, if the data is incomplete, inconsistent, and is not accurate, I would say, then how would your AI models help you, right? That kind of thing has to be taken care of. Only if you are mature with your data journey, I think you should only then think about using AI for leveraging what you have.
So a lot of organization now, I think, has understood the importance of data and specifically having a solution where they have centralized data. And also, what is your point of view or what is your suggestions to them who are invoking this new journey so that they do not make these simple mistakes for when they do data transformation? So what are some common mistakes, common ground mistakes which people generally do in these kind of implementation?
Yeah, Shivesh, I would say that I've seen many a times, even I have been inclined to make the same mistakes. That whenever a business, a challenge comes up which you are trying to solve, we're inclined only towards the end result. This I discussed previously also. We see the end vision that should be the goal. This is the functionality that business should, leverage, or, it should be made available to them. We should be the first in the market to release this feature and all. In that journey, if we let go of the basics, like the governance of data, the data quality, data profiling, if we when we don't ignore the philosophy of data, and when we sacrifice it, it is then that many challenges come up. So I would still say that think about the foundation first, and then of course you groom. Ensure that your the underlying knowledge base that you have, which your AI runs. That should be good enough. The engineers who are actually or the who are using basically in the intermediate, you should ensure that their prompts should also adhere to a standard, to a particular high standard. So forethought should be given even there as well.
Especially now, Charu, in the current, specifically for this market, India as a market, if I talk about one of the very important boardroom discussion is around DPDP now, right? Because there is a huge compliance thing which is coming up. People have to comply, and specifically enterprises and organizations. Now, when you see DPDP as a topic or as a compliance, you will see there is a lot of data aspects also, not just concept manager, which is part of it. Right? But most of the initiatives inside the boardroom for DPDP are being picked by CISO organization, right, or CISO department rather than it is going to a combined effort. So what is happening is a lot of these data governance part or those part, instead of it is getting centralized in your organization, it is specifically being think or thought or seen around a DPTP perspective. So I wanted your candid view around it that I understand there is a function manager part of it. But when you start implementing the governance or the data side of DPTP, it should be centralized and overlooking the entire organization rather than just making it a compliance part and sticking it to your DPTP aspect of it. So how you are navigating this view with your current organization?
So, Shivish, I'll just tell you my views. So, according to me, this should be more centralized,
Mm.
right? Because now it means that data is there. Data was always there, but now it's data with responsibility, right? AI with responsibility. So you know what to store, what is your purpose. Do not store everything blindly, especially the things which pertain to a person's personal identity. You bring forth out that what actually you need. Ensure that it is compliant, it is encrypted, it is masked wherever is possible. It should not be exposed. So here I would say, Shivish, that it's not just the responsibility of the chief security officer. Basically the security team and the technology team should work hand in hand. That is what I mean by centralization, because they're the strengths of each team. The security teams knows how things can break. They are more aware of the challenges, the clauses, right? And then the technology team, because we are also the executioner, right? So we understand that okay, data has to be maintained for this particular life cycle, and then it should be moved on. It should not be there. How even encryption also you must be seeing that we need data for debugging also, right?
Mhm.
So there should be some capability that the person who is debugging is also not able to see someone's API information, so that those kind of logics for encryption, decryption utilities, so those kind of things should be built in house, and not there shouldn't be a risk of exposure. So those are the things which I think the security and the IT team, the data team, should work together hand in hand in a centralized fashion, rather than seeing it as a overhead that a law has come up, so we'll have to abide by that. No, this is a philosophy which all of us should share responsibly and move forward.
Yeah. Now, I know we are on time, but before wrapping up, I would like to take a couple of more questions, Charu. And specifically, these are very touching questions in the current era, and there is a lot of audience who are looking and would like to hear from your experience. We are seeing a lot of transformation in this AI era. Specifically, there is a lot of fear of engineering jobs being taken away from organization because there are a lot of AI agents who are doing a lot of work. There are repetitive work which are going on, which organization is trying to cut out, right? Which is leading to a fear specifically for data engineering roles or data engineers. They feel that jobs are being taken away from market and agents are going to replace them. Right. So as a human aspect around it, what do you feel that what should be a right career option for a budding engineer? Like you pick the emerging technology, what should be there from for these budding engineers?
Yeah. Shivesh, it is true that we have reached a level of evolution where a lot of repetitive tasks can be done by AI. And as an organization which is committed to make profit for not only their own self but for their stakeholders as well, every organization wants to leverage that benefit. So a lot of things which could previously be done manually are now been automated, and we should realize that it is a good thing for I think in larger scheme of things, it is a good thing. And why we shouldn't fear is that we should actually make ourselves capable enough that we can use the vision, right? The vision is something which I don't think can be replaced by AI, right? How to proceed forward, how things are going to look from 5 years from here, how I can make my team more efficient, reuse my resources for something better. So that kind of vision and strategy is not going to go redundant, because there has to be a human in loop for many things. The decision making, perhaps the controls. No, not everything can be AI driven. So I would say that let's focus on those parts, the strategy,
Nothing.
the vision. Let's have our base strong. Don't think that okay, data warehousing is not in use these days, so let's not study about it. See where the philosophy came from, right? The bill in Mon was there was a particular methodology of data warehouse, Bill Inmon and Kimball, right? So study about those philosophy, widen your knowledge base, and then try to set vision for future. I think that is the way
Awesome.
forward.
Awesome. Awesome. A last question. In this era where technology is driven by a lot of men, right? Women in leadership remains a very, very important topic. And you have climbed that path from being engineering to engineering leader to now being an AVP. So how do you think specifically for a woman entrepreneur or let's say women engineers jumping on or coming into a technology side should navigate this path so that they get right podium seats in organization?
Yeah, so I think I personally believe that diversity is very important because the men folk, they do wonderful work and work has seen that. But women also bring a lot of elements, right, which perhaps enrich the organization, the decision making as a whole. There's a lot of intuitive aspects which come up, empathy comes up, sincerity comes up. So every organization should leverage that. As a woman, professional journey is not the same because a lot of things happen, which actually gradually enhance and make the woman stronger. But it takes some time. Like when you start a family, there's childbirth. You have to take care of your family and put certain things you have to plan things out. Then responsibility also in general of the house and children, they fall upon the women folk, which is okay. Things are I think moving for the better now. The partners, they are taking equal load and giving their partners, their female partners wings to actually explore themselves. An enriching team is the one which has representation from all walks of life, and women are 50%, they make 50% of the population, so should have representation there. And in my personal journey also, I have seen women folk grow in the organization, and they're
Right.
heard, right? Because even as children, you must have been around your mothers, sisters, teachers. The teachers in the school are mostly female. Female teachers are there. So I think everybody subconsciously is okay to you hear them out because we have been, so let's leverage that out also. A certain foundation are there which women have put up upon themselves. They think that perhaps we would not be heard, perhaps we would not be taken seriously. But if you go beyond that, I think if you have a valid idea, everyone, even the one with unconscious biases, is going to appreciate that idea. So with that faith, I would say that let's have a very enriching, diverse, and equal workforce so that everybody gets opportunity, and even the organization gets opportunity to listen to all the ideas from everyone, every mindset.
That was quite motivating. I genuinely feel women listening to this will be quite motivated with your work, Charu. I would like to thank you for giving us time and coming up with your brilliant ideas and brilliant thought process. We'll meet you soon in certain event or whatever way possible, because the distance was so much we had to organize it remotely, but there will be time we'll be coming and meeting you. Thanks for your time, Charu.
Thank you so much, Shivesh. Thank you to your team as well.